Good day everyone, I am Noella Ramos, presenting Media and Information Sources. Media and Information Sources. First, I will read about the learners will be able to identify the different sources of the information. Number 2, compare potential sources of media and information. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of the different information sources. Identify and explain basic criteria when evaluating information. Lastly, discuss the importance of being able to evaluate information from the internet. So, based on a pattern analysis, as you can see in the picture, it shows a different use from different channels and different websites. Parang sinasabi dito, you can get any news and information from TVs, like medias, websites, audio, like video, or Facebook, online apps. So I have here these two sources from the Interpreter about the issue of Maute insurgency in Marawi. So the publisher is from the Daily of the Lowly Institute. So I will read first about the insurgency in Marawi. Mindanao has always been a militarized zone due to combined influence of insurgency, high criminality, and crime violence. Yet, the 5-month Marawi siege in 2017 and the aftermath has further amplified what can be best described as a securitized state. More than 12,000 troops were deployed to fight and remove at least 500 heavily armed militants belonging to the Abu Sayyaf group, Maute group, and as well as foreign and local fighters that pledge their allegiance to ISIS. The whole region is still under martial law until the end of this year, which gives the military enormous power to kill any rebellion as well as to arrest and detain suspected insurgents. So I also have here about information from Facebook. It says here, leader of ISIS in Philippines killed. DNA test confirmed. So, diba? I'm gonna ask you guys, if you will choose between the two sources, which one is more reliable to use? Kasi, diba, definitely, you will choose the online news that was written by a credible author and was published in a reputable organization website. Sa Facebook kasi, you can see a lot of fake news and scams. Mostly, dami accounts na nagpo-post ng to spread fake news. And that's why it's really not appropriate to use for looking at credible information. The next question is, why do we need to consider the sources of the information? Diba guys, people always encounter a lot of news every day. So, mahalaga na alam natin kung paano natin i-evaluate ang isang information, whether they are reliable and credible to use. And since we're talking about information here, so your information sources really matters. Kasi when you're looking for a certain information, you have to bear in mind or remember that all the information that you can gather is all credible and valid to use. So, these information sources are categorized according to the following. First, human source. Second, indigenous knowledge or media. Third, library. Fourth, internet. First, let's talk about the human source. Human source is about any person who can be a source of information or data. Kapag sinabing human source, your information comes from certain people, and when using this kind of source, there are things you have to consider. The following is person's knowledge, educational background, experience, and skills. For the person's knowledge, you have to assess first if that person is really knowledgeable enough about the topic that you are going to ask. And for the educational background, check their educational background if he or she is enough to share that certain information with you that you're going to ask or you're going to give. For example, if she or he a college graduate, do they have a license? Are they a master or a doctoral graduate? For me, I think the higher educational they have is the better. For the experience and skills, you have to assess whether they already have enough experience and skills that can be a great help to you and for finding your information, and make sure that their experience and skills are relevant to the information that you need. For example, if you want to ask about a credible news, you can ask the newscaster or reporter. Or if you want to know more about medicines and treatments, also we have the doctors. And lastly, we have the teachers, where you can ask about the lessons of your subject, of your different subjects. Let's proceed to the second source of information, which is the indigenous knowledge or media. And in order for you to understand this better, let's define what is meant by the word of indigenous knowledge. Let me read first. Indigenous knowledge is the local knowledge that is unique to a given culture or society, contrast with the international knowledge system generated by the universities, research institutions, and private firms. So, indigenous knowledge, I have the example about rice fish culture, a farming technique for over 1,200 years in South China, and was recently designated a globally important agricultural heritage system by the UN Food and Agriculture Organization. So, in my own insights, the rice fish culture is about the carbon dioxide released by the fish, and how they have a positive effect on the rice during the photosynthesis. During the process of photosynthesis, that's why they created this kind of system. Again, indigenous knowledge refers to knowledge that are found in a specific place or culture. Next one is we also have the indigenous indigenous communication, which refers to communication of a certain place that claims to preserve their culture. One of my example is the paintings or any written documents by any tribe in different places. And also, we have this indigenous media. Let's read first what is indigenous media. Owned, controlled, and managed by indigenous peoples in order for them to develop and produce culturally appropriate information in the languages understood by the community by utilizing indigenous materials and resources, reflecting community needs and interests, visions, and aspirations, and independent from vested interest groups. So in indigenous media, it's used by indigenous people to relay or express certain information. This media comes in 5 forms. First one is folk or tradition media. The second one is gathering or social organization. Third, direct observation. Fourth, records. 5, oral instruction. For folk and traditional media class, these are actually the four branches of a mass media, and like the mass media, they are used primarily for media class. These are actually the four branches of a mass media, and like the mass media, they are used primarily for entertainment and also may promote education, social values, and cultural practices. And culture has its own form, so they can present it through song, dancing, puppetry, festivals, storytelling, and so on. For gathering the social organization, this refers to different groups or organization in that case. For example, an association that monthly collects donation for brides or relief goods, or a community pantry, or it could be a group that manages the water distribution, or any group that is beneficial to their community. For direct observation, now in communication class, it doesn't have to be intentional or even involve another person. But most learning during childhood is actually a result of imitation. So you acquire something by just simply directly observing. Kagaya nung kung ano yung mga madalas na nakikita natin sa magulang natin kapag nagmura sila, pwede rin natin ma-acquire yun yung pagmumura na madalas, kaya kung ano yung nakikita natin sa mga magulang natin, may possibility na gayahin na din natin sila. Kapag kunyari, lagi silang galit sa atin, di lagi rin tayong galit. Ma-acquire natin yan pag laki natin. Kasi pagka-childhood natin, lagi natin silang nakikita ganyan. So, there are possibilities na ma-adapt natin yun. So, for the next is the records. It could be a written card or oral. This may take many forms. Some may use this as their paper. Yung naglilista sila para for records, kunyari mga listahan sa mga umutang sa'yo, ganun. Pero in different ways sa past kasi kapag records kasi, you can carve it on stone. Pwede kang din magsulat para tinatawag kasi nila itong to preserve any records or document. The last one is the oral instructions. So obviously, this refers to any instructions given orally. Example, yung mama mo inutusan ka magtupe and you don't know how to do it. Siyempre, ituturo niya instruction kung paano mo itutupi yung isang damit. And that's orally instruction. One of my example then is about yung, yung mga lolo and lolas natin na laging nagbibigay ng payo patnubay kung paano natin paaandarin ng buhay natin. Kung paano natin magawing maganda at mapunta tayo sa tamang destination ng buhay natin. So, and plus, you can also learn other information through deliberate oral instructions from other people around you and also your community. Let's proceed to the third information, which is the library. So, before that, I just want to ask, we have these questions. What is library? library is uh, is a literary, musical, artistic, or reference materials such as books, manuscripts, recordings, or films that are kept for use but not for sale. Ito yung mga libro na pwede mong hiramin pero hindi mo siya pwede bilhin. Kasi, ayun nga, for library lang yan. Ginagamit lang siya for free information. So, I have a question. Why do you think every school has a library? I think it is for a student to easily access by finding information on the books. Kasi diba, kung wala tayong library, mahihirapan pa tayong maghanap ng information. Lalo na if wala tayong mobile phones to research about the information or wala tayong money na pang computer shop para makapag-research tayo ng information about our research topic. So, I think that's the reason we have a school library. So, third is, do you still use library resources for research? Why or why not? So, yes guys, for me, I still use library as my resources. Kasi, usually talaga, pag sa library ka naganap, tumpak lahat, credible and reliable yun. Pero, ang disadvantages lang neto, yung iba, outdated na, and hindi mo na siya pwedeng gamitin for your current research topic. Like, right now, 2021, maghanap ka ng information sa library about your research topic. Then, the date is from 2014. You can't use that. Dapat 5 years or 4 years ago siya pinablish. Kasi kailangan current date yung makukuha mong publish year niya. So, last one is, what is a modern library to you? So, yung a modern library kasi talaga ngayon, you can easily it is easy accessible na. So, madali na lang siyang gamitin. Hindi ka na mahihirapan. Gamit ka lang ng cellphone, papaload ka lang. Meron ka nang pag-search ng information mo. So, I have the 4 major types of library. The first one is, this serves colleges and universities that they call academic library. Second one is, serves cities and towns of all types, so they call it the public library. The third one is, serves students from kindergarten to grade 12. So we have the school library. And the last one is located in specialized environments such as hospitals, corporations, museums, the military, private business, and the government. And this library is called the special library. Now let's proceed from the third sources, the internet. The internet is a vast network that connects computers all over the world. Through the internet, people can share information and communicate from anywhere with an internet connection. So, di ba, yung internet connection, lahat talaga dun mo na makikita yung mga information sources na kailangan mo. Pero, not at all, lahat Kasi may mga website na pirata lang, yung na nangunguha lang sila ng information sa ibang tao, then copyright. Kaya kailangan matutunan mong mag-evaluate ng information kung sa internet ka kukuha ng information about your research topic. So, I will ask you, if you were to compare both the library and the internet, what could be their own advantages and disadvantages. So, in my insights, sa library kasi, they provide free access to scholarly books, journals, newspapers, and encyclopedias. And plus, lahat ng books, journals na may kitamang information sa library are credible and reliable gamitin. Kaso, ang library kasi natin, di ba, may hindi siya 24/7 open. All of the libraries does have a limit time kung hanggang ano oras ka lang pwedeng gumamit sa library and what time ka pwedeng mag-start pumunta ng library, like 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Ganun. Then, unlike sa internet kasi, anytime we can search any information 24/7 kahit madaling araw. And napakadali na lang din humanap ng sagot sa internet. You can also find websites on the internet that offer text, video, audio, photos, graphics, and other multimedia. However, hindi lahat ng information sa internet ay libre. Yung iba kasi, di ba, kailangan mo mag-sign up for free articles or need magbayad after 7 days of free trial. Moreover, the internet is really very, very broad. So, may hirapan ka din makahanap ng information agad na kailangan mo since kailangan mo pang i-check if that information is credible and reliable and was published by a reputable organization or website. So, I have a question here. Why do we need to evaluate sources? So, diba, evaluating sources is really substantial, guys, especially like us, students, or if you are working in an academic. But one of the things that you do is your research. And when you do your research, of course, you want to find the best information to support your topic. And that really requires careful evaluation of all the information that you will find. So, kung alam nyo mag-evaluate information, and of course, you can find the most relevant information to your topic. You can also ensure the credibility and the reliability of your research paper. And so to improve your evaluating skills, I'm gonna discuss some criteria and evaluating sources. This one, first one is how to evaluate information sources. The first one is accuracy. Content is grammatically correct, verifiable, and cited when necessary. Is the content grammatically correct? Syempre, you have to check the information. Kung they have this wrong grammar, and if this is written perfectly and grammatically correct. Is the information accurate and verifiable? Syempre, dapat all the information that you want to gather is accurate about your topic. Are sources and references cited? Also, this one. The sources and references cited is really important when looking for an information. Kasi dito mo ito yung kakailanganin mo sa research, like listing the references na ginamit mo. Does the tone and style imply accuracy? Syempre, kapag binasa mo yun, dapat makikita mo kung accurate ba yung topic niya about the information. And the next one is author. Define who created the content, individual or group's credential, expertise, and provides contact information. Do you know who published the source? Syempre, you have to check kung sinong nag-publish ng source. Like, kung publish siya by the author itself or pub or published siya by a reputable organization website. Is the author's name easily visible? So, ito yung isa sa mga problema kapag naghanap ka information. Dapat yung titignan mo, yung makikita mo agad yung information ng author. Minsan kasi, credible naman din siya kahit yung profile ng author is nasa below ng website. Madalas kasi kapag naghanap ako ng mga information sa website, yung details about the author, nasa below siya, di mo pa siya makikita. Talagang halong-katin mo pa yung buong website para makita mo. Or minsan naman about sa date. Kailangan makikita mo talaga yung date of publish. Currency. Currency. Information is current and updated frequently. Do you know when the information was originally published and is the date acceptable? So, yung kapag currency talks about kung what year yung kukunin mo information, when was it published, kagaya nung kukuha ka ng information sa website, then like right now, it's 2021, then I need a research paper. Kapag naghanap ako ng information, dapat hindi siya outdated. Dapat recently published lang siya, like 4 years ago. Hindi ka pwede kumuha ng 10 years ago, gagamitin mo pa. Siyempre, hindi na yun. Sobrang outdated na lang. Hindi mo na siya pwedeng gamitin sa current year na yun kasi sobrang tagal niya na. And hindi mo na siya magagamit. In fairness naman, content is balanced, presenting all sides of an issue and multiple points of view. Are various points of view presented? So, ayun, kapag naghanap ka ng information, dapat iba't ibang point of view makikita mo. Hindi siya biased. Hindi yung sa isang side lang siya nagbe-base ng topic niya, ng information niya. Dapat on point pa rin yung topic niya, kung ano yung information, kung ano yung tungkol sa information niya. Dapat hindi yung sa, alam mo yung sinasabi nilang one-sided lang. Dapat walang bias. Dapat, kung ano yung topic mo, dun lang yun. Then, is the objectivity of the source consistent with its purpose? So, yung about dito sa purpose na to, dapat yung content ng information mo, may purpose din. Alam mo kung ano yung kung para saan yung pagsusulat mo, kung para saan yung pag-publish ng information. And, para saan din yung information na gagamitin mo sa research paper mo. So, lastly, the relevance. Content is relevant to your topic or research. So, dapat yung content or information na kukunin mo sa website is relevant to your research topic na susunod mo or yung gagawin mo. So, kailangan, dapat kapag naghahanap ka ng information sa websites or books, libraries, ma-meet yung needs na kailangan mo para sa research paper mo. Hindi yung dapat kuha ka lang ng kuha porque nakakita ka lang ng konting topic about your research paper. Kukunin mo na yun. Siyempre, babasahin mo yan. I-evaluate mo kung it really talks all about your research topic and if it's relevant to your topic research. So, how to spot fake news? First, consider the source. Click away from the story to investigate, decides its mission and its contact information. Read beyond. O yan, sinasabi sa inyo, dapat babasahin mo muna yung information na kukunin mo bago mo siya gamitin. It says here, headlines can be outrageous in an effort to get clicks. What's the whole story? O, yung may mga clickbait kapag nakita mo agad na, ay, ito yung kailangan kong topic, naka-title. Forget naka-title lang. Sa tingin mo yung content na yun, yung content ng loob na yun, credible ba? Or it really talks about your research topic. check the author. Syempre, you have to check the author. The details, your information, contact information, are they reliable? Fourth is supporting sources. Click on those links. Determine if the information given actually supports this story. Yun yung parang may mga ads ata yun. Kailangan kasi kapag sa supporting informations, kailangan may mga links. So, hindi pwedeng walang links. Kasi kapag yung links na kinuha mo, then bigla na lang a page was not found. Nako, kiss yun. So, next is check the date. Reposting old news stories doesn't mean they're relevant to current events. So you really have to check the date if it was published 4 years ago, recently, or was published in 1990, something like that. Hindi mo pwedeng kunin ng information na pinublish pa noong unang panahon. Kailangan 4 years ago or kaya recently lang pinublish. So, next one is check your biases. So, yung kapag higanap ka ng information, syempre dapat nga wala kang bias. Dapat pantay pa rin yung paghahanap mo ng information. Kasi, like this, in this check your biases, consider if your own beliefs could affect your judgment. So, kapag hindi ka pumapayag sa information na ito na pinag-uusapan dun, syempre bias yun. Is it a joke? If it's too outlandish, it might satire, research the site, and author to be sure. So, yun yung sinasabi na para to check if it's credible, pwede mong i-search yung publisher or kaya yung author kung legit ba talaga siyang legit ba talagang nagsusulat siya ng mga reports or nagpapublish siya ng mga topics or information sa internet or author siya in reputable organization. The last one is ask the experts. As a librarian or consult a fact-checking site. So, yun sa librarian, syempre dapat doon ka magtatanong para kasi sila yung mas nakakaalam kung ano yung isasagot nila sa iyo kapag nag-check ka ng mga kailangan mong information. So, that's all for today. Thank you for listening, guys.